a show about sports and spirituality.
Right.
So we touched on the sports side of it all, but now the spiritual aspect. What does the Bible say about marijuana use?
Even to dig deeper into that, because there's what does the Bible say, and then there's what is the traditional church.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go.
Because sometimes the church and the Bible, although we would like to think it's like this, the church has kind of started to make their own, like this is the law, their doctrine basically, and you come to find out stuff wasn't even in the Bible to begin with, but people love throwing out them quotes. Mm-hmm. Be like, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, and I'm like, well, if you look at stories in the Bible, he always used the weak people to do great things so that he would get the credit. So God won't put more on you than you can bear. And I was like, we take that scripture out of context, because he's just saying if you find yourself in temptation, there's a way of escape, and he won't let you be tempted. Not that he's gonna just put stuff on you like, let me just
pour this
let me dump a little bit of person's life.
You'll be good.
You'll be okay.
It's for your own good. It's for your own good.
That's what my dad used to say. Stuff would happen. Like, I build his character. Dad, I don't need character building right now. I need a Band-Aid. Help me.
Cussing on there. You know what I mean?
That's how coaches are though. Like, just put some ice on it, coach. He broke his leg.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt and walk it off.
Can he play?
Maybe give him a rest about like 15 minutes to be honest.
Trying to tell. You know how many times I done came off like with broken hands and fingers facing this way and that way. They put him back in, and you know, coach, it's third down. Can you take the gunner rep though? Bro, I came off literally 45 seconds ago, and my pinky finger was facing like this. But you need a gunner rep from me right now?
That's what we're worried about.
What am I gonna do?
All I could think of is when you say that is the Kobe dislocated his finger, and he was on TV on the side, and then he was like, okay, 3, 2, 1, and you just see him go, all right, let's go.
Back in.
Yeah.
Well, it's like an expectation as far as athletes are concerned. Like, you just got to be tough, do whatever you got to do to get back on the field. On the flip side of that, we ignore the mental health and things that go on along with playing, not just playing a sport, but just in life in general. And for the longest time, from a church aspect, it's just go pray about it.
Yes. Yes.
Go to a therapist.
Right.
Get some
like
counseling.
You need actual help. Like you need
like,
help.
Just ask God to fix it. And you, like, well, if I'm sick or I got a cold, like your mom isn't gonna be like, oh, just pray. She's gonna do things to help you get better. She's gonna give you some chicken noodle soup, or she'll give you some cough medicine, whatever.
Right. There's resources.
There's resources.
Yeah.
So in terms of, we talked about the benefits of marijuana use in terms of physically and pain prevention, not prevention, but
management.
Pain management, right? But from the church side, it's black or white. It's like, no, you can't do that. That's the devil's lettuce.
Right.
Like that stuff is evil.
That's a new one.
No,
I
you never heard that one.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah. Listen, there's names.
I've never heard that one. I learn something new every day.
Marijuana, Mary Jane.
I know those ones.
Reefer.
Yep.
That's the
I know that
ones.
one.
The devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce, yeah.
The chronic. I heard a story about why Snoop even came up with that. I started calling it the chronic. This is like y'all can cut this or whatever, but I just thought about it right now and I don't want to forget what he actually was trying to say, but he was messing up the pronunciation of the word.
No, what?
Hold on. I got to go to my Googles.
Again with the Googles.
With the S.
It's the Googles.
That's how we say it, with the S. Where's the story? See,
what's the key word?
Because
you can't just say Snoop and weed because that's just gonna.
You'll have 78 pages of articles on Google for that.
Exactly.
Okay, so he was like, I guess like a little function or whatever, and he said this dude came in, and it was called hydroponic.
Hydroponics. Yeah, like
And so he heard and he was like, oh yeah, the chronics. He was trying to tell somebody else, like, he had some stuff called the chronic, blah blah blah. So
and it just ran with it.
So that's how the term chronic got associated with weed, because of a mispronunciation, right? So
he wasn't even close, by the way.
At all. He just heard the onic part.
I'm just throw a little something
on
there.
Was he high when he heard that?
Was Snoop high You don't have to add anything else to the end of that sentence.
I know the answer.
The answer is yes.
I know the
With Snoop
answer,
High.
but yeah.
Not with Snoop High when, it's with Snoop High, yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
But in my mind, because I try to, put stuff together, so I'm
Right.
hearing chronic. Okay, well, people with chronic illnesses use marijuana. So
Hello.
then I need my little hat with the kente cloth on it.
Yeah, 100%.
Get my Dr. Umar on. The chronic is for people with
Okay, let's see. Let's go.
with chronic illnesses.
Bro, you hecka funny
So
for that.
if they have chronic illnesses, they need chronic medication. Therefore, I
Well.
need chronic. Boom, there you go. That
go.
wasn't it either.
That
But
wasn't
in my
it.
mind,
It sounded good.
but I was right. I was wise in my own eyes.
I'm
So I
saying.
put it together. So okay, so then weed is good in that sense because it's for people with chronic illnesses.
Right.
People with cataracts.
Yeah.
What would you
Glaucoma,
consider?
all of
What
that.
would you consider a chronic illness? Because
No, I
mental
was-
health could be considered.
I
a
was
chronic
just
illness.
trying to make the connection. I
Right.
wasn't saying that because technically I have chronic illness from playing football. Like when you wake up in the morning, have you ever had surgery where they put you under, like out? Or you,
Yeah.
Okay, so when you first wake up, and it's like you don't even realize that you've been asleep.
Yep.
You
And
just
then,
blink.
Yep.
but then,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you're at that first moment, how your body feels perfectly at peace, like everything is good, and then you feel the pain, and it just kind of like
Creep on. Yep.
Yep.
every
Oh,
morning
yeah.
when I wake up, that's what happens. Like I wake up and it's like, I'm good. My back.
Nope.
Oh, my
man.
knees.
The knee.
Oh,
So
And
okay,
chronic
I got a
pain.
question. Does your PCL still give you any problems? Still, does your knee swell up at all or anything?
I never had swelling, even when I did it.
Really?
No swelling at all.
Okay.
But my knee clicks every now and then.
Yeah.
Or like when it first happened, I would bend it a certain way and I would feel like it catch, and I'd be like,
catch,
I'm afraid
yeah.
to straighten it out because I'm like, it's gonna hurt. It's
gonna-
gonna pop. Ah! So now it's kind of like, okay.
And then it'll, yeah.
So, is there any scripture or just any reference about pain management in the Bible? Just specifically, not necessarily weed, but specifically, because then we can go back into how we manage it.
That's where the argument comes in, because people will look at certain scriptures, and we talked about narrative, how from Big Pharma, how they write their own narrative. People will look at scriptures and take it out of context to fit whatever narrative they're trying to fit. And that's on
100%.
either side of it. So that's the
Right.
people arguing for, that's the people arguing against. Now, me growing up, it would always hear, oh, no, the Bible says to be sober-minded. And so I was like, okay, I get that. But they be serving at some churches, they serve actual wine for communion. So that's sending a mixed message.
It is.
Like, what if I need a little extra Jesus in my life?
Right.
I need to go to the altar more
I need
than
a
once.
little help, a little more help.
You talk about from a spiritual side and a physical side. I've seen people go to the altar every Sunday for the same
yes.
thing.
Yes,
So
they do.
Is that like an overdose of that prayer prescription? Like, what's the difference?
Or is it the attention? Just pure attention.
That's one thing that I always thought about too on the pro weed side, is that marijuana plants, other than bugs, don't have any natural predators. You know that?
Nothing eats it.
What's it here for then? No.
What's the scripture? Isn't that in Genesis?
So in Genesis chapter 1:29, it says, God said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the surface of the entire earth, and every tree which has fruit yielding seed. It shall be food for you.
Edibles.
And it's, it is a plant that yields seed.
Yep.
It doesn't have any natural predators other than, there's certain bugs. But
I've heard-
if we're gonna use it for something, just like we use trees for paper, we could use it for hemp, and you can, tobacco's used for what it is. You know what I mean?
Yes,
that's
that's
same.
true. It's the same thing.
It's just because it was
So-
made into something that they could make and
It
tax
could be
and do all of
manufactured.
that. So you
Yes.
take the same. It's
It's
writing it?
context.
Who's writing the narrative? That's my biggest.
I take it a step further, because I've heard arguments where people, because it's like, well, what is the forbidden fruit that Adam and Eve?
Yes,
It doesn't say, people say an apple, but it doesn't say apple. And oh, maybe it was this fruit. Like, we don't know what it was. But then, you got these really super deep people that would drown in a foot of water.
Right,
But
exactly.
they're like, no, really, it was weed.
I've read that
because
one. I've
it
read
makes
that
you
one.
wise.
I've read that. That
like,
was the
so-
I've
forbidden
never
fruit.
heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard, so it's like it was really weed because it opens your eyes and it makes you.
See clarity
So-
and.
I didn't smoke, but I used to hang around a lot of smokers. So in college, we sitting around, and it was like a little shed session, like writing music or whatever.
Right.
So they smoking, and I guess by association I was high too.
You
Just
got a
didn't
little-
realize
little
it, little
contact,
contact
yeah,
high.
yeah.
But they sitting around, and that's when we used to have these deep philosophical conversations.
Right.
But me, I don't need that. I'm like that anyway.
naturally-
You're
Just
naturally like
naturally
that.
weird to
Right.
where
You don't
I'm gonna
need
think
something
about
to
random
influence that.
connections.
Right.
Like I did with the Kobe
Yeah,
had on
yeah.
Dwight Howard and but just like everything is 6 degrees of separation with me
100%,
automatically. That's how my
bro.
brain works. So they started talking about this, like really, Eve got high and her eyes were open, and then Adam was like, well, what's that? I'm trying to find out what that is too. And then she's like, well, it's gonna make us be wise like God. And so I'm sitting here like, what are y'all smoking
Right.
that would make you even go down that path? And so she was like, but she was talking about the apple.
Right.
She was like, oh, she ate the apple. I was like, well, if apples had that effect back then, why don't they have it now? Like, why can't I buy the apple now and just be like, oh, I see, my third eye is
Right,
opening
exactly.
up.
Opening it up.
And you have to talk like this.
Right.
You have to whisper like the Ray Lewis talk. Anytime he's giving you a speech, and he wanted to be dramatic.
Hey, no, not to be. That's how we really talk.
I know.
In real life, bro. We could be talking about nothing. Like, that's one thing that I learned I'll never forget from that year. Ray Lewis really talked like that. And I hope you see this, Ray. 'Cause everybody that knows him know he really talked like that. It don't matter if we're talking about 4th and 1 or if we sitting here we could be talking about church.
You see that?
Ace. Like, the first time I ever talked to him was the funniest thing ever. He called me and said, hey, come here. And he was Uncle Ray to everybody. He says, what college you went to, son? I'm like, son, I'm a 23-year-old man. Like, I know that you're Ray Lewis, but like, he's Uncle
Right.
Ray. Like, that's really how we talk. Sorry for the tangent, but okay.
Yeah, but that's what it does though. It it makes you talk like that, and you do the Jada Pinkett Red Table Talk ends,
Oh boy.
and you because you have to like really make your point when you say stuff. So is it opening your eyes? Is it enlightening you? But on the flip side, I've taken Vicodin. Like I played half a season. I broke my hand, and they gave me Vicodin, bro. And at first, so I took a half because I like just take a half of the pill, and I was like, it didn't do nothing. It just took like the pinch off of the pain.
edge,
bro.
the
It took
soup-
the edge off.
exact
So
edge, yeah.
It got to the point where I would take a half a pill 30 minutes before kickoff, and then at halftime I would take the other half.
Right.
And then after the game, I still would have to take Tylenol and stuff.
Yeah.
Then it got to the point where I was taking the whole Vicodin before the game.
Right.
And other people were like, man, I take a Vicodin, I'm out there floating. I'm like, man, I take a Vicodin, I caught 7 catches for 112 yards,
Right.
2 touchdowns, like.
Cause it's not gonna enhance performance.
Right.
It's giving you the ability to perform.
To continue.
You know what I'm
already
saying?
doing.
Like, okay, all I need is to be able to play.
Right.
It's not gonna help
Get
you
me to
play.
it.
Just be able to take the pain off enough so I can get
play.
on the field and do what
my
I need
job,
to do.
right.
Right? It's not gonna.
So the
I'm
crazy
not gonna
part
not
is-
feel anything. I'm not gonna.
Right,
No,
yeah.
it's gonna make it manageable enough that I can do it.
It got to the point where I won't say I needed it, but in terms of pain management, it got to the point where I was like, oh yeah, Tylenol ain't gonna cut it.
Nope,
I need a Vicodin
exactly. Nope,
prescription.
I need it.
So
Come
the
on.
season is over, stuff is hurting. Let me just pop a Vicodin real quick. And then before you know it, I'm like, yo, I'm popping pills like every
Yep.
day
All the
for
time.
I got a headache. Let me take a Vicodin real quick.
Exactly.
So like on the flip side of it all, there's another scripture that I kind of want to counter the whole, it's from the earth, it's from God, all of that. It's 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 5. It says, as for you, always be sober-minded. Endure suffering. So what does that say when it comes to taking any substance for that matter? Yeah, we're sitting here talking about marijuana use, but what does that say about any substance that is supposed to be help you?
What is the context?
Yeah, that's my.
And so it's
thing.
always
What's the
so it's always
context?
up for
Is that,
interpretation.
always be sober-minded, enduring suffering. Right. If there's something that you are going through emotionally, the best time and the best way to deal with it, as we all know, is head on doing this. Don't take nothing to try to run away from it.
Right.
To try to stay
Drink
away
your
from
problems away.
Exactly.
Drown your sorrows away. Okay.
Deal with it.
Right.
You know, that's at least looking practically like that's what that entire thing means. Don't run away from your problems.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Nothing that you can get that will get you out of a sober mind is going to ultimately help you with what what you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you know that's one way to look at it as well. But that doesn't have anything to do with my pain management, my mental health at a certain point. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between using something for your mental health and using something to run away from your problems.
Right.
Like those are two. Just because they both have to do with your mental
mind
state,
but it's two,
it doesn't mean that those are the same.
It's like,
thing.
yeah, I get what you're saying. So it's not like, okay, I broke up with my boyfriend, so I'm gonna go drink my problems away.
Right.
Or it's no, I am having an anxiety attack. I don't know. I can't control anything.
Right.
I need something to calm down. It's not necessarily to just be high. It's to just let me get back to myself.
So then you can be quote unquote sober minded and think about, well, why is it that this is such a big thing for me? Why is it when I'm saying every other day that I can't stand being with this person, but then finally leaving them, why is that so impactful to me? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You got to be able to dig deeper, and it don't matter what it is.
Dig to the root of the
alcohol, other drugs. If you're not getting to that point, then it don't matter.
Some people use love as a drug, right?
100%.
Because of the actual chemical response that your body has when you get these feelings. Sugar, cocaine have like the same effects on your brain.
Yep, sugar
right?
and cocaine, 100%.
Caffeine.
A hug,
sugar, caffeine, and cocaine.
Hugging somebody that you really care about will produce a certain stimulus in your body, right?
Shoot through the roof.
So what people do is they search for drugs in other things. They search for the drug-like feeling. It's not necessarily the drug or the substance. They look for it in people, like an interaction. Like some people love drama, so they'll start an argument just to spike the like in your what is that the adrenaline?
Adrenaline, dopamine and everything.
They get a high off of that, right? So I think in terms of interpretation. Because Paul also said, I mean, he wrote all the New Testament pretty much. Like, you could take a little wine for your stomach's sake.
Yep.
Now, people will take that out of context. Well, you know, the Bible said don't get drunk, but you can take a little wine for your stomach's sake.
One glass of wine at night is good for your heart.
Your stomach isn't hurting.
Yes.
You can take 7-Up for your stomach's sake. Like,
I can't smoke a joint. That's not okay.
That's what I'm saying. What is the difference?
For my head's sake, like there's no.
Your purpose. Okay. I think it could be your purpose.
But why does the church why is it weed is so taboo within the church where it's like that is just all the way out? You can drink wine because some places
that's not as taboo of a subject as smoking. Yeah,
right. Because I mean, look, even in the Old Testament, Samson, like the guidelines to be Nazarene. What were they called? The judges, the priests, whatever.
Oh, I can't think of it.
Yeah, it was like Nazarite.
What you're thinking?
It was Nazarene.
Okay.
Right. So the guidelines for him, like what they told his parents, was he can't cut his hair and he can't drink any strong drink. Mm-hmm. Why would they have to put that in the specifications if everybody wasn't allowed to drink? See what I'm saying? Point. So when we take these scriptures and be like, oh, you can do this, but you can't, because in the same scriptures they're saying be sober minded. They're also saying don't go to orgies and don't be gambling and doing all this other stuff. We ignore that other stuff, but we can go to the altar for the orgies.
Oh no, everybody! That's what
I had a wild weekend. Let me go pray for that. But
everybody
you was smoking.
Pick, certain certain little things. Like, well, God said don't be greedy, don't be gluttonous, but you over there supersizing your fries, but you want to
Thanksgiving, you get high off the food.
Bro, like you can't just pick and
choose. Well, this one works. This one works for my argument. This one works for my argument. Therefore, you're wrong.
Argument right now.
You're wrong.
They'll be inconsistent in different arguments within the same month.
The itis is a drug-induced state. Like you eat food to the point that your body's just like, yo.
All of your energy has to go into breaking down your
and
food.
Digesting. That stuck feeling though, the same as when you eat an edible and you just sitting there like this. The same thing happens when you eat food. So why don't we preach against them post church chicken dinners. And them chicken wings that they be selling for $5.
The Sunday dinners.
That's not a common stance.
Sunday dinners. Can't get rid of Sunday
but I mean, think about bake sales. But that's the thing
You're
is
100% right.
Everything that we've ever been taught, we've never challenged. I always tell the story that my grandfather used to tell all the time about making a pot roast or a ham or whatever. And he'd be like, and I used to think that it was his actual story, but it's probably like one of them Negro folk tales type things. But I'm gonna just say it in terms of like this is him telling the story. Like, he was watching his mother cook one day, and she cut the tip off the ham, put it in the pot.
Okay, this story,
I tell it all the time, but it fits every scenario. And this one it fits. So he's like, Mom, why you cut the tip off the ham, throw it away? She's like, oh, because my mom did it. Let me go ask her.
Right.
And then so she asked her, Mom, why you always cut the tip off the ham, put it in the pot, put it in the oven? Oh, because my mama did it.
Just passed down.
And it goes down to 6 generations, and they trace it all the way back.
You just know, you don't question it.
But because nobody asked, it was just that's what it's done. But they get to the source, and it was, why do you cut the tip off the ham? Well, baby, the pot was too small.
Right.
The ham wouldn't fit, so I had to cut the tip off so it would fit in there and put it in the oven. So you mean to tell me we've been throwing away perfectly good meat just for generations just because one person had us, like the pots we got now are big enough? Like, why do? And so it's a lot of stuff we question, even in the Bible. That's why I said study to show yourself approved. So
that was my thing with weed.
Like
that's
you said,
what it taught
like
me.
you said about when you was 15, you was like, well,
you know what? I'm gonna just find out for myself because everybody's been saying this for
everybody's
so. That's
been
just
saying
what it's been preached.
That's what we're not supposed to do. Well,
right, but like,
really? Is it
not?
I
was smashed and I came out and ran better than I've ever run in my life. So I'm gonna just go ahead and find out.
So I think the real challenge, it's not even so much what side people are on. It's about examining why you're on that side in the first place. Because if you disagree with it and you have your personal convictions and your reasons why, because Paul talks about that too. Like there's some stuff, everything isn't good for me, but that don't mean it's not good for you.
Right.
Thank you. And vice versa. I just don't want to be a stumbling block to somebody else. Amen. So from that side of it, I see why in church, in terms of us having a platform, we can't advocate whatever you might want to, because there's somebody out there that doesn't get the full context of what we're saying.
It's not going to be that.
And be like, oh, you know what they saying?
They said smoke. It's okay.
Let's blaze up. Like, let's match. Like, oh, bro,
there's always it's an intent. It's your intention. Like, unfortunately, like. The road is paved, what do they say?
Yeah,
what
the road is
paved with good intentions, but but when it comes to, marijuana use, it really is, what is your intention? Is your intention, I want my anxiety to go away, or is it, I just want to be high?
Yeah, I'm chilling.
I'm just chilling.
And at what point do you, cross that line? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people didn't go into it saying, I want to just be a stoner on the couch for the next 15 years. You know what I mean? I'm sure, there's some people went into it, I'm working on, my pain or my anxiety, but when does it become a crutch for you?
Right.
Just like anything, just like alcohol, just like...
Where you have to wake up and blaze.
Tylenol, just like anything.
Yeah.
Just like you said.
Yeah.
I needed it in order to perform my job, but when my job stopped, I didn't stop. When does it like that is a very personal thing, and I think that looking at stuff like that is important when you discuss especially substances, especially having to do with your health or mental health.
The issue isn't necessarily substance use; it's substance abuse.
Abuse, yep.
So people they forget, like when talking, oh well, that person was using me, or using is a good thing. That's a good thing. It's a resource.
Reciprocity. We use each other and everybody wins.
Right. When you abuse, that means misuse of something. I'm using it in a way that it's not intended to be used.
Exactly.
And that's where the problem
We're not promoting abusing it, but there is a purpose.
Absolutely.
I'm saying find out your why. Know what yours is. Because everybody has a different walk and a different level of understanding and a different level of faith. And ultimately, you only have to answer to God.
Yep.
Amen.
You do. Nobody else. To nobody else.
Amen.
I know what side I'm on.
Oh, so do I. Do you?
So, thanks for watching another episode of Whose Side Are You On? Obviously, you're on my side. Anyways, thank you for watching another episode of Whose Side Are You On? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, DM us, hit us up, let us know what you want us to talk about, because I'm sure there's a ton of debates out there where he'll be wrong and I'll be right. So make sure you
none of the debates that I'll be wrong about unless you just want me to choose that side. But
stay locked in. Make sure you hit that notification button and stay updated. See y'all later.
Peace.